broadcast.
...2023 Indiana High School Athletic Association Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. Ivy Tech Community College, presenting partner of the IHSAA. Learn more about higher education without the high price at ivytech.edu. By Franciscan Health, inspiring health. Wilson Sporting Goods, official ball of the IHSAA. Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the official sports medicine provider of the IHSAA. By Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut water. Sharp Business Systems Indiana, saluting great athletes and even better students. Dellin Automotive, experience the Dellin difference. And by the Indianapolis Colts, proud presenting sponsor of the 51st annual IHSAA Football State Tournament.
Win here at the Global State Cup race. Now has 5 total wins on the road with 450 and 1 cup.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Indiana High School Athletic Association Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. I'm Bob Lovell from Indiana Sports Talk, alongside Paul Condry from the Regional Radio Sports Network, and the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Mr. Paul Nidigan. Commissioner, again, great to see you. Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for the hospitality. 311 schools going for the 51st Annual State Football Championship. Congratulations in advance, because you've done a tremendous job to this point handling the weather. So I think we trust you from here on out to have a great tournament.
Well, we're going to keep putting in that call every week to just kind of ask for good weather. And, you know, if we're blessed with good weather, we're going to play good weather. But if we have a little rain or a little snow, God forbid, towards the end of the season, we're going to play in that too. But we're going to play football until we get to the state championship.
As an observer, I think you've had a great year. I think there's been tremendous interest, lots of sold-out fields and stadia around the state. It just seems that interest might be at an all-time high, because Friday nights are a special thing in our state.
It is. I like to say all the time, Coach, it celebrates community. It gives you an opportunity, and it's not by accident people go to a football field on Friday night with their friends, with their teammates, people that they grew up with, to watch this year's generation of that high school team play. And they get to do it for just 4 short years, and it's such a valuable, important part of their life and how they grow up and the lessons that they learn. And you know, it's just a time-honored tradition, and people continue to celebrate it year after year.
Well, obviously, the Indianapolis Colts play such a pivotal role in the entire infrastructure of this tournament, with hosting at Lucas Oil Stadium. I've been blessed running the Colts Coach of the Week program for the last quarter century. And I can tell you, there's not an NFL program, there's not a state that embraces the local community like the Indianapolis Colts have. So I'd like to think back on, since 2009, when they've gotten involved as a presenting sponsor. Can you just give us a flyover on some of the amazing things that this organization as a whole has done for high school football and the grassroots of youth football?
Well, first I want to congratulate the Colts on an incredible win today.
Absolutely.
I mean, they played well, and it was just fun to watch them, and the enthusiasm around the Colts right now is just incredible. But that enthusiasm has been part of Indiana High School athletics in our football program. There's no question that football in our state is better than it was 15 years ago when the Colts got involved in this. It's the facilities we get to play in. It's that professional aspect of sport that helps celebrate high school sports. And the Colts have been phenomenal sponsor. From the Coach of the Week, we'll show up at the end of the season after the football state finals, and they'll have us there as a guest, and we'll celebrate coaches, and we'll also celebrate the Mental Attitude Award winners at their facility. And I can tell our fans that there is not another professional sports organization in the country that does what the Colts do for high school sports in our state.
couldn't say it any better. We get started on the 20th of October with some great action around the state. 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A get a week off to begin with, but it's a fantastic tournament, and we encourage everybody to go, and we always encourage and have to remind people this is about sportsmanship. It's something upon which the IHSA is founded, and we expect people to follow that strictly when they're at the ball games. Let the kids have fun, let the kids be kids, and make sure it's a great experience for everyone involved.
So important, Coach, and great lead into this. This is a game, as we talked about, we're all human beings. It's designed by human beings, it's played by human beings, coached, officiated, and it's, you know, the thing I always say, there's nobody that's perfect, and everybody's working hard to do the best they can. And sometimes we're overly critical of officials, and I tell them all the time, hey, the best official in the world can't officiate tonight, and that's my mom, so we just need to give everybody else a break. Give these folks and understand that they're human beings out there doing the best they can.
He's the commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Knighting. Paul, thanks for your hospitality. Good luck. Have fun as we venture through the tournament coming up. When we come back, we're going to start it off 1A North. We'll talk about who's playing whom and where. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome to the
Not everyone can be a champion in high school sports, but everyone can be a champion of high school sports.
That's right. Fans and parents can be champions. Coaches and officials, educators, and the media can all be champions of high school sports. I'm Paul Knighting, Commissioner of the IHSAA.
And I'm Assistant Commissioner Janie Ulmer. Being a champion of high school sports is about so much more than winning and losing, setting records, or raising trophies.
It's about supporting the mission of education-based athletics, preserving the opportunity for student athletes to grow and develop in the second classroom, and to protect high school sports for future generations to come.
Champions of high school sports are just one of the many reasons that education-based athletics in Indiana are so special.
And the easiest way to be a champion is by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic event.
This is showing support. This is championing high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
At times, it's easy to lose sight of the importance of saving for the future. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to know there are simple steps to set aside dollars each month. The most important is reviewing all your monthly expenses and establishing a household budget. Need help getting started? Speak with a certified credit counselor who can help map out a plan for you. Call the NFCC at 800-388-2227. This has been a public service message from the NFCC.
Welcome back to the 2023 Indiana High School Athletic Association Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. I'm Bob Lovell alongside Paul Condry. 1A Paul, Lutheran, two-time defending champions as we get started for this, and ranked number 1, undefeated, on a tremendous roll right now.
Yes, no question. 29 straight regular season games, 12 straight postseason games. They're certainly going to flex their muscles. They've done it all season long. We've got 58 teams this year in Class 1A as we get ready to get here started. I think it's going to be an exciting 1A tournament series.
We are live from the Vanderweilen family studios. We're glad that you're with us, and let us begin. Sectional number 41. Bowman will be at South Newton. So if you're seeing these graphics there on your television screen or on your computer, lower teams are the host teams. So just so we understand that. So also Pioneer will be at North Judson St. Pierre. Triton at North Newton, and Culver Community will travel to South Central Union Mills. And Paul, when you look at some really traditional type powers of Pioneer, Triton having a good year, Pioneer with 5 wins. This is a somewhat balanced sectional to begin with as we start the night.
In the top half of that bracket, you look there, you got Pioneer 5-3 at 13th ranked, North Judson 4-4. Bottom half, you got 10th rated Triton matched up. So you got 3 teams that are certainly coming into the tournament series to be the favorites here. And North Judson, the 2-time defending champion. Look for Triton to send Cole Shively, outstanding football player for them. North Judson, Sam Pierre Jr.'s running back, Brock Benson, 111 rushing yards a game, 9 yards a rush. Trey McGowan, talented all-purpose guy. He's going to be a big guy to deal with. Pioneer's going to throw at Rylan Toloza, 7 yards rushing per game. So those are probably the 3 best teams. I don't think we could. I don't think we'd be wrong in saying that Triton has a great opportunity to advance, and of course they'll take on the winner of that Culver South Central game. And so I'm going to speculate. We'll see maybe a Triton North Judson Sam Pierre final. That is just my thought on the how that works out.
Sectional number 42, Fountain Central will travel to Park Tudor. Clinton Prairie on the road at Covington. North Vermilion will be at Attica to wrap that up. And Paul, when you look at this, is a nice little sectional. You got Park Tudor at 8-0, ranked highly, playing very, very well. Fountain Central, solid record. Clinton Prairie with 5 wins. North Vermilion with 5 wins. Talk about balance in terms of a sectional. This is one of them.
Yeah, Fountain Central and Clinton Prairie ranked 12th, 5-3. North Vermilion 5-3. Park Tudor, DJ Gordon's had a great year. 1,126 yards from him, 13 touchdowns. He's also rushed for 877 yards. One of the best players in Class 1A. William Harris also had a great year with 85 tackles for Park Tudor. Fountain Central, keep an eye on that group, and that's going to be a great matchup, I think, in that first game. Fountain Central, Eli Foxworthy's passed for 1,200 yards. Senior wide receiver Isaac Gaylor averaging about 21 yards per reception. So the marquee matchup as far as teams playing against each other, that Fountain Central Park Tudor matchup will be a really, really good one. And I think you have to say that North Vermilion got the great draw at 5-3. They're going to have a much easier trip to the championship game.
Let's head to sectional number 43. First game, game number 1, Caston at North White. Carroll of Flora will travel to Tri-County. West Central on the road at Taylor. And Tri-Central will be traveling to Frontier. And Paul, you talk about a sectional that's loaded, if you will. North White 8-0. Carroll of Flora 8-0. Start there, work your way back. You've got West Central at 7-1. Some really good football teams.
Yeah, 3 teams ranked in the Indiana Football Coaches Association top hole there. Carroll, Keegan Ellis has had a great year for that football team, and I think Blake Betzer's done a solid job there. They're ranked number 9. Carroll, I really liked what they've been able to do. West Central, Connor Marlott, Jacob Pilarski, Dre Villarreal, all have had great years for West Central. And North White is the team I think is really, really solid, and it's going to be my pick. Senior Eli Quasberth is throwing for 1,500 yards, 27 touchdowns. C.J. Hunt's had a great year. Not only does he rush the ball well, 5.5 yards per rush, but also has 91 tackles. North White and Carroll both in the top half of that bracket. My, oh my. West Central got the great draw because they're going to have one of those ranked teams off their slate if they get to that final.
Sectional number 44. Madison Grant will travel to Northfield. North Miami will be at Southern Wells. South Adams travels to Adams Central. And Fremont on the road at Southwood. Paul, this sectional weekend, you got Adams Central has had such a great run. They're 8-0 coming in. Very solid. Madison Grant at 6-2, a good solid year. South Adams at 5-3, but I think you obviously start with Adams Central.
Yeah, you have to. 2-time state finalist quarterback Jack Hamilton has had a spectacular senior campaign. 70% passing rating so far. He's only thrown 1 interception all year. Keegan Bloom has been outstanding rushing the football. 13 touchdowns, 8 yards every time he touches the football. Max Gare has done a great job defensively, but you have to say that Adams Central is certainly the creme de la creme in the bottom half of the bracket, but they play their arch rival South Adams, so that's going to be an old-fashioned slobber knocker in that first round. But Adams Central, you'd be hard-pressed to say that is not going to be the team that comes out of Sectional 44, because in my opinion, when you look at what their body of work has been the last 2 seasons, it has been spectacular. And you got to give a lot of credit to Michael Mulcher, the head coach, because he has been the architect of getting his team 2 straight trips to the championship game.
And I want to thank you for taking 14 minutes to get slobber knocker in.
Working on it.
I appreciate this. This is one of your favorite words, and your wife Tanya's excited too. She's keeping score on the number of times you're going to get that in. So
hey, when the Wilson ball is in the air, anything can happen, right?
That's right. We'll come back. We'll do the south part of 1A We're live from the Vanderweilen Family Studios. And I want you to send us photos from your viewing parties. We've already seen some. Keep sending them. Tweet us at IHSAA1 and IHSAA-TV. We'll come back much, much more. High school football, the 51st annual IHSA State Finals. You're listening to the 2023 Indiana High School Football Association Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA.
Colts fans, now's your chance to secure tickets to home games this season at Lucas Oil Stadium. Enjoy one of the NFL's top-rated game day experiences and witness matchups against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, New Orleans Saints, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as well as AFC South opponents. Visit Colts.com/tickets to reserve your seats for a Colts home game this season. That's Colts.com/tickets.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance. We're good at Maya's half duplex with a 2-car garage that holds more concerts than cars insurance. We're good at Summer's 2-bedroom rental with an outdoor balcony for taking her virtual yoga class insurance. And we're good at Audrey's 3-bedroom remodel with walls that just aren't thick enough insurance.
Could you guys close the door? It's shut.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. The tumor was very aggressive, and it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. St. Jude is an asset to the world. I think it's the kind of place that could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. If those lessons could be learned, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by Indianapolis Colts on the IHSA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. I'm Bob Lovell, and coaches, I'm that guy that sends you those emails every week asking you to call my radio show. And next to me, someone everyone knows, he really doesn't need an introduction. This would be St. Nicholas Condry. He's working the Santa Claus beard, and I think it looks really, really good. We've asked you, if you can, go ahead and tweet us photos from your viewing parties at IHSAA1, IHSAA-TV. Greencastle High School, here we are, outdoors, celebrating. Have a little nice spread they have working there, Paul, and making me hungry right now. And also, thank you to Switzerland County. They are viewing, getting ready to hear what's happening with their respective schools coming up. We head to sectional number 45. Game 1. This is in 1A South. This would be Monroe Central taking on Union City. Monroe Central traveling to Union City. Also, Game 2, Hagerstown will be playing Sheridan on the road. And then you see Westdale and Tindley with the bye. Westdale will take on the Monroe Central and Union City winner. Tindley will have the Hagerstown and Sheridan winner. And Paul, when you look at this particular sectional, I really like, obviously, what they've done at Hagerstown. They're 5-3, playing great football at Sheridan. Here's a surprise: playing great football at Sheridan, which you've been able to see for 50 years.
56 to be exact.
There you go.
Unbelievable. Bud Wright continues ranked 7th in the state. Hagerstown, I think Scott Snodgrass has done a formidable job, but then he's got Grant Semler back there who's rushed the ball well. Peyton Meyer, who is a tackling machine. Sheridan, Eli Kolb, Zach Bales, two guys who have played well for Coach Bud Wright. But I think you have to go and, Monroe Central maybe a little bit down from what we've seen in the past, but Hagerstown, Sheridan, the winner, certainly is going to put themselves in the catbird seat there, and I think that Sheridan's the team to beat in that one. And, of course, Coach Bud Wright, as if he needed any more help in padding to read the record book, he certainly will do that if he wins another sectional.
Sectional number 46, their matchups are South Decatur at North Decatur for the Battle of Decatur County. Winner of that game will play Edinburgh in the semifinals. Knightstown will be at Tri. Milan on the road at Cambridge City, Lincoln. Well, Paul, in this sectional, pretty nice little balance. How about these two teams? You got Tri at 5-3, North Decatur at 5-3. It's a situation where some really, really good football. South Decatur 6-2. Milan at 5-3. There's some really solid football teams in this sectional.
Yeah, North Decatur beat them earlier in the season, 41-14. That was really early on in the year. Taking a look at that, Knightstown, Tri's had a solid year. Milan at ranked 13th at 5-3 coming into this one, and Edinburgh, who really got the best of all of it. They got the first round bye, so they'll take on the winner of that South Decatur North Decatur contest. But North Decatur, Mason Morris, the junior quarterback, has been outstanding, 160 yards passing a game. And they got 5 running backs over 200 yards this year, so they are going to kind of share in the wealth there. And Steve Stern has just done a spectacular job everywhere he's gone.
He's won,
and he has done that. And I think they're primed for another one. But Rodney Martin may have something to say about that.
Might have it. Let's go to sectional 47. North Central of Farmersburg hosting South Putnam. The winner of that game will play the 3-time defending champs, Indianapolis Lutheran. Park Heritage travels to Covenant Christian, and Riverton Park will play at Cloverdale. Clearly, when you talk about sectional 47, you really have to talk about Indianapolis Lutheran. We could spend a lot of time talking about them. Again, they're undefeated. They've won it for the last, they're going for a three-peat, if you will. Sorry, they've won it the last 2. They're very, very good. They seem to not have too many weaknesses.
And South Putnam, which is the best team in the northern half of that bracket, junior quarterback Wyatt Mulling, a 3-sport kid, has done a great job. 10 yards per rush. There's 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,500-yard passing. You know, South Putnam is good enough to win a lot of the sectionals in Class 1A. They just got the dubious distinction of being in the same sectional where Jackson Willis, the great quarterback, is thrown for 1,500 yards, 23 touchdowns. Braden Hall has rushed for over 1,000 yards. Johnny Hall, 63 tackles. And it's a Lutheran team, to be quite frankly, is in a situation to get into that history book because only 2 other teams in 1A history have done that. That is, of course, Lafayette Central Catholic from 09 and, of course, Sheridan from 05 to 07. So they're in rare air if they can pull off the three-peat. And make no mistake about it, Lutheran is primed to repeat. But once again, they still got to play the games.
We wrap up the 1A pairings by going to sectional number 48. Springs Valley will travel to South Spencer. Winner of this game will play in the semis against West Washington. Providence will be on the road at Eastern Green, and North Davies will be at Tecumseh. And Paul, let's see, an interesting sectional. You know, Providence at 8-0, Springs Valley at 7-1, New Washington with 5 wins, North Davies right at 500. This is an interesting sectional, some real balance here.
Yeah, I think West Washington got the great draw here. Tell you what, Jeremy Lowry's done a really nice job. I know I talked with him earlier today. I know he's really excited about the development of Kenton Chase as quarterback and Hudson Crest, their running back and outside linebacker. But if you look in the top half of the bracket, you've got Springs Valley and Providence, 2 ranked teams. Springs Valley at 7-1, ranked 13th. Providence 8-0 at ranked number 4. But Providence is a story. Carter Lanning has had a great year throwing the football for Providence. Luke Kruer has rushed the ball well. Lucas Thomas defensively has been a standout in the defensive area. Springs Valley, and I tell you what, Jason Lowe has done a spectacular job, I think, there. Laurent Childers has rushed for 729. And I tell you what, Jason Lowe has done a spectacular job, I think, there. Laurent Childers has rushed for 729 yards. James Wallace has had a great year, but the Childers kid can do it on both sides of the football. He's also an outstanding player defensively with 64 tackles. I think that we could speculate and say if the seeds hold true, we could see a really entertaining semifinal matchup between Springs Valley and Providence. Providence just having a tremendous year, and I tell you what, they are a team that certainly, if they continue their current form, they could be the team that could be hosting the championship trophy for a second year in a row.
1A in the books. We'll come back and talk about 2A. Today's broadcast of the IHSAA Champions Network is brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College. An Ivy Tech degree means you'll be ready on day 1 at your new job with over 70 programs offered and a faculty that meets you where you're at. Get started at ivytech.edu. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses who work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Paul Condry with Bob Lovell. Glad you're with us. We'll be playing ball. We got week number 9 coming up, and then we're going to toss it up and go play. Let's go to 2A North. We start with the Bremen at Hammond Bishop Knoll matchup. Winner of that game will play Wheeler in the semifinals the following week. Andrean will travel to LaVille, and Lake Station Edison will be at Whiting. Paul Condry, Andrean having a nice year. In addition to that, Bishop Knoll is capable, but I think you have to, and LaVille's had a tremendous run to this point. This is an interesting sectional.
You know, when you look at Class 2A and the big picture, we got 62 schools in Class 2A, and I'm just thinking right off the top that, you know, Andrean and Evansville Mater Dei have been to the state championship game the last 2 seasons.
Right.
I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe for both of those teams to get there. Let's start and let's put that out there, as we say. But if you look at this one, Bremen at 4-4, certainly got the upper hand on Bishop Knoll there. But Andrean at 3-5, playing in the Northwest Crossroads Conference. That is a tough league to play in. Quarterback Scott Ballantyne's thrown for over 1,200 yards. Junior defensive back Jaden Holmes is averaging about 9 tackles per game. But they're going to be on the road in La Paz, a.k.a. Lakeville, to take on 4th-ranked LaVille. And, of course, the 59ers have ended the Lancer season the last 2 seasons. So I think if I'm Jeff Kaiser, the coach of LaVille, I've got my group ready to go. I don't think there's going to have to worry about any highly motivated thing, because they got a chance to knock down Andrean, who's the 4-time defending champion. Wheeler is an interesting situation. They got the best draw.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5-3, and so they're going to take on the winner of that Bremen Bishop Knoll game. But that Andrean-LaVille game is the marquee matchup in Sectional 33.
Let me go back and welcome. Again, we've done some things. We've asked you to send tweets of your viewing parties, and so let's take a look at Paoli. Paoli having some fun. There they are right there, enjoying the fun time and the food. I'm sure the food is great. North Judson St. Pierre, someone's house. Very, very good-looking group of young men. We also go to Centerville. Speaking of Centerville, we're going to talk about them later. Talk about a year. They're having it. They're having a great one right now. So let's turn our attention now to sectional number 34. Winnemac Community will be traveling to Lafayette Central Catholic, and the winner of that game will play the Zebras of Rochester Community. Benton Central moving to Seeger, playing on the road at Seeger, and Delphi Community, the Oracles will play at Lewis Cass. So sectional number 34, Paul, you always talk about Lafayette Central Catholic, but Seeger at 6-2, LCC at 5-3, playing a really solid schedule. Rochester 6-2, some good matchups. Really a tough sectional.
Rochester ranked 11th, got the best draw. They got the first round bye. They'll take on the winner of Winnemac at Lafayette Central Catholic. Lafayette Central Catholic, just a side note here, Lafayette Central Catholic, 3 of their losses are to teams in the top 10 in 3A, so they played a brutal schedule. Tell you what, the young defensive coordinator, Gavin Breifogel, has done a great job because he's got some guys who can absolutely bring it, including one of the best football players in the state, and Brent Robbins. He's averaging 6 tackles a game. Nick Page, 10 tackles a game. Those guys could bring it. Their junior quarterback, Bobby Metzger's averaging about 200 yards per game. But once again, Lafayette Central Catholic is a team that is going to have to be reckoned with, and I like them advancing into that first round. But Seeger, which is going to be playing into that second, so you have a potential Lafayette Central Catholic Rochester matchup in round 2. And then, of course, you look at the rest of that. Rochester's had a great year, and I tell you what, Ron Schaefer has done a wonderful job. They got a pair of two-way players, sophomore running back, defensive back Brant Beck, rushing for about 116 yards a game, 10 touchdowns, averages 10 tackles a game, 2 sacks. Alex Deming, running back, defensive back, 109 per game, 10 tackles for loss. I tell you what, this should be a really good Rochester team. And the good thing for Rochester's side of things, they're in the bottom half of the bracket, while the Powers are at the top of the bracket. So 11th ranked Rochester at 6-2, got the best draw imaginable.
Sectional number 35, game 1. It's Wabash at Eastside. Game 2, Fort Wayne Bishop Lures will travel to Churubusco. Third game of the sectional, Prairie Heights on the road at Central Noble, and Manchester will travel to Whitco. I really like this sectional, Paul. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, I don't think there's any question. This is a difficult sectional. Lures record may not be stellar. Prairie Heights having a nice job, nice year. Good sectional right here.
When you look at the East Side, 6-2 at the top half of the bracket, Bishop Lures at 6-2. So we've got 2 great teams that will play into the semifinals there, I believe. East Side, Lincoln Carter has had a great year, nearly 1,000-yard rusher. Gage Spalding has done a great job defensively. Fort Wayne Lures, you have to go back to playing in the league that they're in, the Summit Athletic Conference. That has made them tournament tested tough. So they come at 6-2. Cohen McKenzie's had a great season, 1,000-yard passing. Giovanni Jimenez has done a nice job rushing the football. Isaac Zay, wide receiver. Damian Jackson, defensively. This is Bishop Lures tournament to win. I can see them easily, and I say that with confidence because of the schedule that they have played. I think they're going to run through this one.
Sectional number 36. Blackford will play at Tipton. Elwood Community on the road at Eastern of Greentown. Eastbrook plays Frankton, and Bluffton will play Alexandria Monroe. Paul, this is loaded. You got Alec is 7-1, Eastbrook 6-2. Jeff Adamson, Hall of Fame coach. They always play great. Bluffton with 6 wins. Eastern Greentown with 6 wins. How am I doing so far?
Yeah, how about number 6, number 7, number 8, all ranked in there?
Right.
I tell you what, and then you've got Eastern Greentown having a pretty good year, but Bluffton has had a really good year. I know they lost this past week to a really good Adams Central team, but Braxton Benacourt, Cooper Craig, Andrew Hunt have all had really, really good years for Bluffton. Brady Gass has had a great year throwing the football over the yard. Carson Cuneau rushing. Gabe McGuire has done a great job receiving. And then what can you say about Eastbrook? And I know we've talked about Jeff Adams as one of the greatest coaches in Indiana football history. Kay Jingle has had a great year, 108 yards per game rushing the football and 17 touchdowns. The defensive average at 7.5 tackles per game and 2 interceptions. I tell you what, Eastbrook is a team that has its tournament tested tough, and I really, really like that what Jeff has done. And of course, I think that they're going to be the team. I still believe that they're the team to beat with 3 ranked teams in there.
All right, we'll come back and catch sectional 37 to start the southern part of 2A. Want to remind everyone we're live from the Vanderweilen Family Studios. Send photos of your viewing parties. Tweet us at IHSAA1, IHSAA TV. And just remember to have fun at the games, be great sports, and do things the right way when you show up and have that kind of fun. Stay with us. We have much, much more to come. Today's broadcast of the IHSA Champions Network brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech associate degree means you got hands-on training on state-of-the-art technology. It also means you're earning $10K more than if you just had a high school diploma. So get started at ivytech.edu. We're back on the IHSAA Champions Network as we continue to bring you the 2023 Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSA Champions Radio Network.
What makes education-based athletics in Indiana different from other youth sports programs?
Our coaches genuinely care about their student athletes as people, not just as athletes. And their top priority is teaching and mentoring, not winning and losing.
Our student athletes play for the love of the game. They have pride in their school and community. They want to represent something bigger than themselves.
Our parents and fans know the student athletes on the team. They've seen them grow up and care about them. They paint their faces, pack the stands, and cheer loud and proud. I'm Robert Falkins.
And I'm Kara Rosati. We're both assistant commissioners of the IHSAA. High school sports in Indiana couldn't be more different from other youth sports programs.
And we wouldn't have it any other way. Be a champion of high school sports and buy a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is keeping education in front of athletics. This is passion you won't find anywhere else. This is your IHSAA.
My grades were bad.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you had seen me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of.
There are students who need somebody.
Communities in Schools is helping more than 1.3 million kids get whatever they need to succeed in school. You can help change the picture of education at communitiesinschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
Welcome back to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA, Paul. We have some teams who have sent us pictures of their viewing party, one very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, Jason Dorfler's guys over at Leo showing up, showing us out some love.
Looks good.
Yeah, Nate Andrews and that great group at Donna Napanee and the Northwood Panther group, a highly regarded team, and then the team that's closest to Paul Condry's heart, the alma mater, the Hobart Brickies, Craig Osika, Stephen McDar group, and once again, tweet us at IHSAA1 and at IHSAA TV.
Don't forget to remember your most famous alumnus.
Yeah, it's
Paul Condry.
I don't know about that.
All right, sectional 37. Here we go. Game number 1, Greencastle will travel to North Putnam. Clinton Stockton will be on the road at North Knox. South Vermilion travels to Cascade. And Sullivan will be at Southmont. Paul, you have to start with number 1, rated number 1, Linton Stockton, having another fantastic year.
You know what's neat about this sectional, Bob, that of the 8 teams, there's only one team in the entire sectional with a losing record. And so, and I know the Greencastle folks are listening. They're going to be on the road at North Putt there, but Linton Stockton and North Knox, South Vermilion, Cascade, Sullivan, and Southmont about 4-4. But Linton's the defending champion. South Vermilion has had a great year. Tom Garzolini has thrown the ball all over the ballpark, 1,700 yards, 25 touchdowns. Parker Weir, 662 receiving yards. Alex Schrock, 68 tackles. And then, of course, Linton Stockton. Oh, my goodness. Paul Oliver's been everywhere, rushing the football. Ashton White defensively. Linton Stockton, of course, the defending 37 champion, is a team that you have to keep an eye on. And I certainly think that they have to be the prohibited favorite going in this. But this is a really fun section. We don't have very many like this in the entire pairings group, but this will be one to keep an eye out.
One where everyone has, as you pointed out, it has had a great year to this point. Sectional number 38 up next for us. LaPel will travel to Eastern Hancock. Indianapolis Cardinal Ritter on the road at Union County. Shenandoah will be on the road at Heritage Christian, and Northeastern will be at Winchester Community. Start with Northeastern here, 7-1, putting together a really nice run, and have done it in an impressive fashion. But Heritage Christian at 5-3 played a great schedule. Winchester with 5 wins. but I really think you have to begin with Northeastern.
Yeah, Blake Waters has had a great year throwing the football, 1,200 plus yards, 18 touchdowns. Wide receiver Logan White has been a prime target there. Colton Creech, likewise. Both those guys have combined for 7 touchdowns apiece. Zane Schneider defensively has been all over the field. So that should be a really interesting football game for that group. I tell you what, I think Wes Oller's just done a really formidable job there. Heritage Christian, Elijah Pimentel has done a nice job running the football. Colin Jones defensively has been really, really good here. But what's interesting about this particular matchup is that you've got some really good football team is going to lose in that first round between Northeastern and Winchester. Northeastern won the regular season game 19-7, and wouldn't it be interesting to see if because there's about a half a dozen games, Coach, throughout the course of the year, where the team that won the regular season game lost the playoff game and vice versa, and this is one of those ones where we can see that happen as well.
Sectional number 39. Good one here. Triton Central will be on the road at Clarksville. Indianapolis-Scecina will play at Brownstown Central. Brown County will be on the road at Switzerland County, and Eastern Pekin will be traveling to Crystal House. Triton Central 7-1, Brownstown Central 7-1. I'm liking the Scecina-Brownstown Central game to start with.
Yeah, no question. Scecina wide receiver Keegan Ray has had a great year. Keep an eye on him. He could do everything for their football team, but they put a very formidable schedule. But what's neat about the top half of this bracket, you've got number 2, number 3, and number 10 respectively. And what could you say about the 3 of those coaches? Hurley, legendary. Triton Central, legendary Tim Abel. Brownstown Central, Reed May, who is in a couple weeks potentially could be in that rare air of 300 career wins. But Lane Zeich has had a really good year for Brownstown Central. In my opinion, one of the best football players, regardless of class. He would get my vote as one of the top 5, regardless of class. Jay Stuckey has had a sensational career. He's going to close it out. But right now, he has thrown for 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns. He's also scored 6 touchdowns rushing, 513 yards rushing. And then you throw in the fact that Braken Wilkins throws everything that's thrown at him. He's got 714 yards on 40 catches and 8 touchdowns. Triton Central has all the makings of a team that could get to a deep portion of the tournament. The question is how deep, because there's that other team that we've talked about it's going to be pretty good coming from the south that's going to have to defend their title. So we'll see that, because I know next we're going to talk about Mater Dei, and I don't think you can throw Mater Dei's record at 2-6 and just say automatically they're not going to get there, because they've been there the last 2 years.
Well, let's go to sectional number 40 and talk about them and others. North Posey will be on the road at Perry Central. Evansville Mater Dei will travel to Tell City. Mitchell will be at Forest Park, and Crawford County travels to Paoli. North Posey with 7-1 record, Paoli at 7-1, Tell City with 5-3. You mentioned Mater Dei's record, play a great schedule. This is a tough sectional.
Yeah, Mater Dei 4-time defending champion here. So once again, the southern half of the 2A tournament series, until somebody has proven otherwise, it runs through Evansville Mater Dei. But they've got a tough one down along the rivers. They're going to be taking on the Marksmen at 5-3. Had a really good year. They don't have to drive very far. North Posey's had a pretty good year. I really, really like what they have done. Waylon Shank has got his club get together. And then, of course, you look in the bottom half of that bracket, and you've got Paoli. Trey Romiger's had a tremendous year.
Right.
Just doing what he does well. 1,258 yards, 17 touchdowns. Also got 59 tackouts. But you look at North Posey. I really like what North Posey's done. They're going to get past Perry Central, and they're going to be waiting on Mater Dei, in my opinion. Liam Stone has had a really nice year. Colton Gartner's had a really good year. Chase Gower has had a good year defensively. This is going to be a fun sectional and sectional 40. But once again, until you knock off the king of the South,
right?
You know, let's give them props. And of course, when you're talking about the Lord of the Rings himself, what can you say?
Right.
But you know, he's the precious.
He is. He absolutely is. All right, that's 2A. Obviously, we are excited that we have, and all of you now know who you're going to be playing in 2A, and we wish you the best. When we come back, we'll talk about 3A. We do want to thank those great stations around the state of Indiana that are bringing you this show, part of the IHSA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, like WBIW in Bedford, WPHZ, also in Bedford, WGCL, AM and FM in Bloomington, WXKU in Columbus, WCSI in Columbus, WTRE in Greensburg, also WTRE, AM and FM in Greensburg, WYIR in Ball City, WBNL in Boonville, AM and FM, WCJZ in Cannleton, and WITZ in Jasper, WQKZ also in Jasper, and to WREF in Seabury and Evansville. We'll come back, talk about 3A. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
New beginnings.
This is a great day for the city of Indianapolis. Colts select Peyton Manning.
Bring hope and optimism.
The Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson.
We got to be relentless in our pursuit to be the best.
Together, we will make memories. Whether you fight with all you've got,
Colts win!
Or cheer like crazy. All of us are part of something bigger. For Sundays together. For Indiana. For the shoe.
Hi, I'm Arielle Winter. If you're anything like me, your pets are not only your best friends, they're part of your family. American Humane, which has been rescuing animals like Cleo here for more than 100 years, has life-saving tips that can make a big difference in a disaster. When disaster strikes, you want to protect your whole family, including your pets. To help keep your family safe and help our best friends in their worst times, find tips at AmericanHumane.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Paul Condry, more tweets from viewing parties all around the state.
Hey, first of all, shout out to the Van der Ryan family.
Yeah.
And putting this studio together, working with Heath, and doing some amazing things here. So yes,
we're radio guys,
yeah.
so we're not used to this.
Yes.
But it's fantastic. Heath Shanahan, Emmy Award winner, fantastic guy, and Rick Vanderweilen is a legend, quite frankly, and we all owe him a great debt of gratitude.
Joining us from their viewing parties, the New Prairie Cougars, the Westfield Cheerleaders. How about the gals? And then how about the Golden Eagles of Garrett Catholic?
Wow.
Joining us here tonight. Thanks, guys. And once again, send us your photos from your viewing parties. Tweet us at IHSAA1 and at IHSAA TV. Give us a shout out. Send your photos over to Heath, and we'll make sure we mention here on the broadcast.
Tell me about 3A as we get ready for this. Tell me about it. This is a very, very competitive class. I mean, they all are. We all say that. But this is a group, there's a lot of really good teams in 3A.
Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, there are 64 teams in 3A. Let's start right there. This is the part of the tournament. If you look back, this is the 51st year of 3A football. Mm-hmm. So when we started, this was the big class. You want a little history lesson.
Right.
Of course, our sectional champions, West Lafayette, Knox, Yorktown, Chittard, Monrovia, Owen Valley, Lawrenceburg, and Southridge are your champions that are trying to defend. And of course, as you look at the big picture, the champion a year ago, and like we've said this before, this is a skip CD, aka a broken record. The Trojans of Bishop Chittard High School. That's the team you got to knock off the pedestal.
Well, let's start with sectional number 25. It is Twin Lakes on the road at Boone Grove in game 1. Calumet will travel to Hanover Central. River Forest will be playing at West Lafayette, and the Rensselaer Central Bombers travel to Griffith Fall. This is sectional West Lafayette at 6-2. Boone Grove at 6-2. But you have to look at Hanover Central, highly ranked, undefeated at 8-0. What a great year they've had.
Yeah, they've won the Northwest Crossroads Conference, their first year in that league, and they're currently having a great year. Matt Kuntz is throwing the ball over the yard, 1,200-plus yards and a couple touchdowns. Caden Barrett, their running back, is closing in on the 1,000 rushing mark. Kyron Turner has done a great job defensively, but the Hanover Central is sitting in the favorite seat in the top half of that bracket. Then you look at the bottom half of that bracket, and you've got to say West Lafayette, Carson Kitchell is thrown for 1,500 yards. And,
right.
You know, what can you say we haven't said 1,000 times on this show? One of the best young coaches in the Hoosier State is Shane Fry. I don't think there's any question about that. Don't let the 6-2 record fool you. They can get the ball all over the yard. David Curls had a great job defensively for them. But some teams that certainly you have to take notice, Twin Lakes and Boone Grove up there at the top. Twin Lakes just got 4 losses, Coach. Tippy Valley, Hamilton Heights, Lafayette, Central Catholic, and West Lafayette. Those teams combined for a record of 26-5. And Boone Grove quarterback Mark Rowan had a great game on Friday night against Lake Station, where he threw the ball over the yard for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. So when the Wilson ball is in the air, he's had a great year. This is going to be a fun sectional. But once again, West Lafayette is the defending champion, and you'd be hard-pressed to bet against them.
Sectional number 26 comes up next. Jimtown will be at Fairfield. South Bend Clay travels to Glenn. Knox will be at Lakeland. Mishawaka Marion will be on the road at West Noble. And Paul's another one of these sectionals where everybody is at or above 500, just as an overview of these matchups.
Yeah, with the exception of South Bend Clay would be the lone exception. They just recently, as a matter of fact, a week and a half ago, they were able to end their long-standing losing streak. But Jimtown has had a really good year. I talked with Corey Stoner on Saturday. I know he's excited about Colin Chrisman, as well as Jackson Clopton. Bishop Williams, our 3-year starting quarterback. Ty Zartman has had a sensational year. Workhorse, only 155 pounds, but he has rushed for 606 yards. He's a good one. And here's another interesting one. You talk about this one. You talk about Marion. Marion's going to be taking on West Noble. Still Pruitt's had a great season, rushing the football. Nolan Park defensively has been a great one. But Marion is interesting because their 4 losses come to 4 ranked teams, including Mishawaka, Rebuff, New Prairie, and Penn. Those teams have combined for a record of 22 wins and 5 losses. So they know what they're doing. But I think the favorite has to be in this one, has to be 12th ranked Knox. You got the legendary Russ Radke, Isaiah Jones, a 3-year starter offensive line, sophomore running back Miles McLaughlin. As a 10th grader, he is already the school's all-time leading rusher as a 10th grader.
Right.
So Knox, you give Russ Radke some talent. I tell you what, I feel sorry for Lakeland. They've had a really, really good year for Ryan O'Shea, but I tell you what, he's going to be taking on a team that when they run the football, they run with an attitude and run with authority. And when you got that great tandem, this is going to be a Knox team that's going to be hard-pressed to lose.
Sectional number 26. Excuse me, 27. There we go. Yorktown will be at Fort Wayne Concordia. Delta travels to Norwell. Belmont at Garrett. And Heritage will be at Woodland. You love Heritage at 7-1. One of a really solid year for them right now.
Yeah, Yorktown, the defending champion at 27. And Heritage, Casey Colcom has done a formidable job there, 7-1. You look at that group, Kobe Meyer has thrown the ball all over the yard, 868 yards, 13 touchdowns last check. Rushed the ball for 873 yards and 10 touchdowns. But Yorktown, I think, has got to be the favorite in that top half of the bracket, along with Delta. I think Delta's Nolan Carpenter has done a formidable job. Braxton Russell defensively has been good. But once again, don't count out Yorktown. I think Mike Wilhelm's group, they have 4 losses to it with a combined record of 24-8. They lost to Pendleton Heights, New Pal, Greenfield Central, and Delta. So the 4-4 record, you have to throw that one out the window. But I think that this has got all the signs of being one of the most balanced sectionals in Class 3A.
Well, if you like 27, you'll love 28. Sectional 28,
Absolutely.
Here we go. Guerin Catholic will be at Peru. Tippecanoe Valley travels to Indianapolis Bishop Chatard. Northwestern will be at Maconaquah. And Hamilton Heights travels to Oak Hill. Well, Paul, you have Hamilton Heights, Chatard, Peru, Tippecanoe Valley. They haven't lost a game amongst them. This may be one of, if not the most difficult sectional in the state. This is a test for anyone.
Number 1, number 2, number 7, number 8, all in that one sectional. Hamilton Heights, they finally had their streak of shutouts this past week. They've had 5, and what a great job that the youngest of the Kirschners have done. John's done an outstanding job. Bodie Durr's had a good job. Owen Von Haren, Tyler Champion, Eric Balcom, but the 5 shutouts is unprecedented. Peru, Matt Rodinger's had a good year. Rushing the football, Alex Ross. Peru off to the best start in school's history since 1978. Tippy Valley, Nathan Parker has got a great season. Brock Durf, Garen Catholic, Ryan Zimmerman, the quarterback, 166 passing yards a game. Pete Rooney, 8 yards a carry. Aaron Keller, their safety, 13 tackles a game, but it's Chittard. Aiden Artega, Riley Kennett are back. They're going to be back by the playoffs. I talked with Coach Robbie Doyle earlier this week, and junior All-State Colin Guy has been great at receiver. Safety, despite missing their Ron Colley in the first half against Cathedral. Their linebackers have been dominant. Junior All-State linebacker Luke Perica on the inside, and Sam Feeney, a Ball State recruit, on the outside. And, of course, then you've got Matthew Woods, a 3-year starter at offensive defensive line. I tell you what, Hamilton Heights, when you can beat Cathedral like they did, you are outstanding football team. This is the best team in 3A, but they've got a tough road just to get out of the sectional.
We'll come back and talk about more about 3A and want to make certain that everyone understands we still have plenty to go. We also want to thank WZBD in Bern, WJOB AM and FM in Hammond, WIBC in Indianapolis, WIOU in Kokomo, WLQI in Rensselaer, WRIN AM and FM in Rensselaer, WBIN in Rensselaer and Earl Park, WXVW AM and FM in Jeffersonville for being a part of the IHSA Champions Radio Network. We'll come back. We'll talk more football. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
In high school sports, there are some things more important than winning. Like helping student athletes build character, become better people, and prepare for life. I'm Brian Lewis. And I'm Chris Kaufman. We're both assistant commissioners of the IHSAA. And we believe the purpose of high school sports is much greater than what the scoreboard says. It's about teaching. It's about growth. It's about developing the whole person, not just the athlete. That's our #1 priority. Every sport, every student athlete, every day. Let's champion what we believe in, like learning, like character, like integrity. If you support the mission of high school sports and the life lessons they teach, then buy a ticket to your high school's athletic events. Join us in being a champion of high school sports.
This is what we do. This is what we believe. This is your IHSAA.
It's hard to keep track of all the health information that comes your way, but you still want to make the right decisions. Here's an easy one. Get tested for hepatitis C. It's a leading cause of liver cancer and often has no symptoms. People born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. The good news is that now it can be cured. Talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. Know for sure. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. We'll pause 10 seconds for network station identification. This is the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Lovell with Paul Condrey. We are ready to do more on 3A. Paul, time to take a look at some viewing parties around the state.
How about those Chesterton Trojans? I'll be seeing them soon. Greenfield Central checking in. How about those guys? And then how about that group from out in Syracuse, Indiana, the Wawa Sea Warriors, joining us. Once again, don't forget to send us your photos of your viewing parties tweet us at IHSAA1 and IHSAA TV. Great to see so many people checking in with us tonight.
We go to the southern part of the state in 3A, starting with sectional number 29. 3A 20 through sectional 3A 29. Danville Community will be at Tri-West of Hendricks. Western Boone will travel to North Montgomery. Purdue Polytechnic downtown will be at Monrovia, and Crawfordsville will travel to Speedway. Paul, this is a nice little sectional, to be honest. I just think that when you look at what Tri-West has done, Monrovia has had a great year, Danville playing well, a lot of teams there with wins, North Montgomery with 5, Western Boone with 5. This is a very balanced sectional, to say the least.
Yeah, Danville coming off a big win over Webo on Friday. They've set themselves up at 6-2 to go on the road to take on 5th-ranked Tri-West. Bruins beat Danville 21-0 back on the 15th of September. And this is a team, Tri-West, led by Malachi Walden, who's rushed for about 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. Spencer Watson has been an outstanding defender for the Bruins at 38 tackles. And if you look at the Western Boone matchup against North Montgomery, but I really like what we've seen from Monrovia, as they played very well under the direction of Brayton Belcher, who's had a great year rushing the football. Josie Hand defensively has been an outstanding defender. But this is a very entertaining sectional with some teams with a lot of balance throughout the most part. But Monrovia's got the best part of the draw. They're the best team in the bottom half of the bracket. But there's got 3-4 teams in that top that could really make some noise. That's going to be an entertaining sectional. Will be 29. Yeah. Monrovia, the defending champion, so anything can happen.
I think it's a great sectional. Sectional number 30 comes up. Pike Central travels to Princeton Community. Game number 1. Vincennes Lincoln will be at Owen Valley. Mount Vernon will travel to Gibson Southern. And West Vigo will be on the road at Washington. You know, Paul, in this sectional, you have some teams that have played well. Gibson Southern has played well all year long. Vincennes Lincoln having a great season.
Yeah, they have.
They really have. Mount Vernon and Posey at 500. So I think you talk about Gibson Southern, and you spend a lot of time talking about this Vincennes Lincoln game.
Yeah, Vincennes 2 losses come to Wrights out of Evansville and Evansville North, and they're coming off a big win this Friday, a 6-0 shutout over Evansville Memorial. Will Hambrick is her top tackler. Daniel Nash, a junior all-state guy that played very well for head coach Levi Salters. And then if you look at Gibson Southern, I think they're the favorite in this one, in my personal opinion, ranked 4th, 6-2. But Sean DeLong has had a sensational year, 9 touchdowns, 656 yards the last time I checked. Bo Rose, 81 tackles. Tanner Boyd's been outstanding, 548 yards. But this is a Gibson Southern team, and I think you have to like what Nick Hart has done over the course of his career there. But, you know, Owen Valley, the 2-time defending champion, little down this year. Coaching changed this year, but I certainly think that they're going to show up and play hard and try to make some noise for first-year coach Joe White. But I think that you have to look at that 4th-ranked Gibson Southern team as the favorite in sectional 30.
Sectional number 31. Lawrenceburg will travel to Centerville. Batesville on the road at Rushville Consolidated. Franklin County will travel to South Dearborn. And Greensburg will be at Indian Creek. Paul, when you look at this, I mean, Batesville having a great year with only 1 loss. Centerville, how about the run that they have had? Ryan Cole and his guys doing a fantastic job. Lawrenceburg, another solid year. But, you know, Indian Creek playing very well. This is a really very balanced sectional, like a lot of others.
Yeah, Lawrenceburg, of course, the defending champion here, 4-time defending champion. Actually, Logan Ahas has thrown the ball all over the place. 70% passing, 150 yards a game. Tegan Bennett, 100 yards rushing a game, so he is a go-to guy. And I agree with you. Centerville's had a great year. Aiden Holscher has done a nice job of rushing the football. Ethan Becerra, 68 tackles coming into this week. Over at Batesville, they've had a nice year. And I'll tell you what, Evan Ulry's done a formidable job. Gage Pullman has rushed the ball with reckless abandon, 948 yards, 8 touchdowns. Carter Bowman defensively has been outstanding. So this is going to be an entertaining sectional in 31, but sectional 32 is going to provide some pretty good football as well.
It absolutely will. All right, sectional 32 must mean we've made it through the the pairings in 3A.
No, 32 we've
32, excuse me. Here we go. Sectional 32. I'm trying to get ahead of myself. Sectional 32, here we go. Scottsburg at North Harrison. Salem will travel to Madison Consolidated. Charlestown on the road at Heritage Hills. And Corydon Central will travel to South Ridge. Now, in this sectional, Paul, you love an awful lot. You know, Heritage Hills, another solid year. North Harrison has played very well with 6 wins. Scottsburg having a solid year, as is South Ridge. Got some teams that are very competitive in this section.
Yeah, you mentioned South Ridge senior Orion Curry has had a really good year. Blake Taylor defensively. North Harrison, David Landon has been the go-to guy rushing the football well. Leffler defensively has been a big stop guy for North Harrison. But I think the team that you have to look at right now has got to be that Heritage Hills group. And Todd Wilkerson has done a formidable job. And look for one of the great legacy players in the Hoosier State to make some noise. Only a sophomore quarterback, Jet Goldsberry, has rushed 703 yards. He's also thrown the ball very, very well. He also plays outside linebacker. Braden Durham has had a really good year, but I think Goldsberry-led Heritage Hills is going to be a team that has to be the prohibited favorite in this one. Coming in the bottom half of that tournament, I think that they're going to be the team that we'll see advance again to the next round.
When we come back, we'll begin the 4A North matchups. But today's broadcast of the IHSA Champions Network brought to you in part by Ivy Tech Community College. Each year, over 70,000 high schoolers earn college credit at Ivy Tech while still in high school and save on tuition while doing it. Find out more at ivytech.edu. Paul Condry, Bob Lovell will come back. More pairings. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance. We're good at Dillon's Jam Session Truck Insurance.
Where the backwoods party and the diddle-de-doo.
We're good at Ben's Pipe Machine on Wheels Insurance.
You were boss. You were him.
And we're good at Ethan's SUV with surround sound insurance.
Dad, play Johnny Johnny Apple Pie.
You got it, bud.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Hi, Pacers fans. This is Chris Denary. In addition to basketball, my family is a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted our newest dog, Walter, we made sure his water came from our Connecticut drinking water system. We take water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system to eliminate the problems caused by hard water. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for a free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? Have you heard of hepatitis C? Hepatitis C is a leading cause of liver cancer, yet it often has no symptoms. And people born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have it. But here's some good news. Treatments are now available that can cure hepatitis C, which is why you should talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 IHSAA State Football Championship presented by the Indianapolis Colts. Paul Condry, Bob Lovell joining you. Paul, people, schools, thank you very much for sending the tweets. We appreciate this of your viewing parties. Paul, we have some more.
Yeah, send Santa all your details. All right, he'd love to have everything. Send your list of what you can do for Coach and I and help the program. But hey, how about that? The Rocks out at Westfield joining us here. And how about the Yorktown Coaches Kids joining us? All right, way to go. And then finally, New Haven joining us tonight here. Once again, don't forget to send us your photos of your viewing parties. Tweet us at IHSAA1 and IHSAA TV. Coach, we look at 4A. Well, I tell you what, we've got, when the big picture falls in it, we got 64 teams. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, we've only been playing 4A football since 1983. This is only 40 years at this class as you look back on expansion. Right. The defending champion, the East Central. They're currently ranked #1 coming into this postseason, and they're certainly going to be a team that we'll be talking about a little bit later on here in before, but off to 17 with you.
Sectional number 17. Here we go. It's in the northern part of the state. Hobart, the alma mater of Paul Condry, will be on the road at New Prairie. Gary Westside travels to Kankakee Valley. East Chicago Central on the road at Highland, and Culver Academies will travel to Lowell. Well, I know where your heart is. Let's talk about your bricks and talk about this sectional, because KV has played well. Culver Academies has had a decent run to this point. New Prairie playing awfully well this year. Tell me what you think about this one, including your lovable bricks.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's talk about New Prairie, the 2-time defending champions. So until the champs are knocked off their pedestal, well, the Bricks are going to go on the road to New Carlisle and see if they can get the job done. Both those teams are at 6-2. But if you look at New Prairie quarterback Marshall Tomicek has had a great year throwing the football. No interceptions, 14 touchdowns, outstanding, 800 yards rushing. Wide receiver Reese Obsetsky has had a really fine year, 24 yards a catch. You can't ask for anything more than that. Linebacker Hayden Scott has been outstanding defensively. On the Hobart side of things, which is going to be that marquee matchup in the top half of the bracket, Johnny Sorensen, the quarterback, has thrown for 1,365 yards, 15 touchdowns. Running back Willie Scherer has really become a force as of late. 966 yards for him and 18 touchdowns. Wide receiver T.J. Caldwell just hauled in his 100th career catch this past weekend. He has caught 12 touchdown passes. Brad Gibson has had a great year defensively, 84 tackles, 9 for a loss, and 3 sacks. So that is your best football matchup. What's neat is Gary West is going to be matched up at KB in the other half of that bracket. But the teams that I think that are excited has to be the Lowell Red Devils. They're going to have a host game against Culver Academy. Lowell is one of the most difficult places to play in all of Northwest Indiana. Keith Kilmer's kids always get ready to go. And I tell you what, you got Kankakee Valley, congratulations go out from the get-go to the head coach of the Cougars with a K. What a job Kirk Kennedy has done. He earned his 200th career win on Friday night.
Wow.
So congratulations to him. So a lot of really good student athletes, coaches in this program, but certainly the Hobart New Prairie winner has got to be the team that is the favorite.
Sectional number 18. South Bend, Washington will play on the road at Plymouth. Northwood will travel to South Bend St. Joseph. South Bend Riley will be at Wawasee, and Northridge will be at Logansport. Some really good teams in this sectional, Paul. I mean, really good teams. Northridge, Riley, they have 7 wins. Northwood with 6 wins. How about the seasons those 3 teams have had? Make this a very competitive sectional.
Northridge, 2-time defending sectional champion here, Coach, and they're in the upper half of that bracket. You have to, or the bottom half of that bracket, excuse me. Northwood's in the top half, but Northwood quarterback Owen Rudders had a great year, 1,400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Nitro Tuggle, outstanding wide receiver, 619 yards, 9 touchdown. Linebacker Keith Miller's been a great stopper on their defense. And then we talked about Northridge quarterback Braden Clark, a 58% passer this year, 900 yards passing for him. You look at Bo Bojanic, who's had a great job at linebacker. He's been solid. But the question is how good is the South Bend Riley Wildcats? I know the pride of the South Side. Excited about the efforts this season of Dominic Jolly, who's rushes 6 times rush, 108 yards a game, 16 touchdowns. Peyton Baird has done a great job. He's averaging 91 yards in receiving yards. But we'll find out how good they are, because they're going to be, if they can advance past Wawasee in that first game, they're going to be having to flex their muscles against a really good Northridge team, which is the prohibited favorite in the bottom half of that bracket.
Sectional number 19. We have Fort Wayne will be at Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger. DeKalb will be on the road at Angola. East Noble will travel to New Haven. And Leo will be at Fort Wayne Southside. You know, Paul, you look at this, there's some teams in this sectional. I mean, Wayne, East Noble, New Haven, Leo, all above 5 wins. DeKalb with 5 wins. Pretty solid and consistent teams in this sectional.
And then you have Dwenger. We had 3 and 5, which is a formidable group. So you can't look past them. Carter Minix has had a great year for them. The Angola DeKalb game, You look at that matchup, you got to think in DeKalb, but the bottom of that bracket with East Noble and New Haven matched up. I tell you what, East Noble's had a great year for Xander Brazel. Their quarterback, Tyson Renbold, has been outstanding running the football. Dylan Krell, likewise, running the football. Krell also leads the team with 66 stops, 11 for negative yardage as a linebacker. So East Noble's a group. And then you look at Leo in the bottom half of that bracket. Quarterback Kyler Decker, 968 yards, passing 9 touchdowns. Running back Brett Fuller has been outstanding, 7 yards a rush. Also, you've got linebacker Aiden Mons, who's racked up 50 tackles. So the bottom half of this one is going to be good, because then you have New Haven in there with quarterback Donovan Williams, Trey Bates, and then, of course, wide receiver Mylan Graham, who's on the cover of the Indiana Football Digest as one of the primetime 25. He can play catch and pitch with anybody. With 6 touchdowns and 496 yards rushing. This is a fun sectional with 3 ranked teams, 5, 11, and 12 in here. This is going to be a fun one. 19 is going to be one that's going to be one you want to keep your eye out on.
Sectional number 20. This one wraps up the northern part of the state. Mississinewa will travel to western Columbia City at Huntington North. Frankfort will be on the road at Marion, and Kokomo travels to Jay County. Kokomo, what a great run they have had, 7-1. How about Mississinewa? Hasn't lost. You've got a great Columbia City team that's playing well. Western has had a good year, but the Cats and Mississinewa having some great seasons right now.
Yeah, no question about that. If you look at Austin Colby's done a really nice job. You know, him and his dad like working together, and of course they've got running back Reese Beard, who's rushed the ball with the reckless abandon. Columbia City is the team that you think that could make some noise. I really like what Brett Fox has done with their program. This is a program that once was really not going anywhere. He has brought a lot of life to that program. Caden Stroop has had a great year running the football. Stratton Fuller has been outstanding. The junior wide receiver, senior linebacker Noah McDevitt has been outstanding this season. 48 stops, 7 for a loss, and 4 sacks. That's a good one. But Ole Miss has had a solid year too, and I think that they're going to have to earn their keep when they go through Western, because you look at this group from Ole Miss. Quarterback Nolan Quadrer's had a great year, 1,500 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. He's also ran for 5 touchdowns. His wide receiver, Deacon Deltz, has been everywhere. He's caught 8 touchdown passes and has racked up 525 yards. So Sectional 20 will be entertaining with a pair of ranked teams on the opposite sides of the bracket. And it'll be interesting to see how the 20 winner does when they get matched up in the regional against a really good Sectional 19. But we're moving on to the South after this, right?
We certainly are. When we come back, we're going to talk about more of the 4A matchups. And we do want to thank great radio stations around the state like WSLM, AM and FM in Salem, WMPI in Scottsburg, WEFM in Michigan City, WHBU AM and FM in Anderson, and WBAT AM and FM in Marion, and WMUN AM and FM in Muncie. I'm Bob Lovell with Paul Condry. When we come back, we'll continue to pair you up with what's going on in 4A. And again, we appreciate you joining us. Make sure sportsmanship is one of the keys when you go to games. Have fun, enjoy, cheer, have a great time, but understand why we're all doing what we do. We'll come back, talk more football. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
Where does everyone come together to cheer as one, to build traditions, to show pride? High school sports. I'm Robert Falkins.
And I'm Janie Ulmer. We're both assistant commissioners of the Indiana High School Athletic Association, and we love how high school sports play a key role in the life of every member of a school community.
That's because high school sports are a special place where everyone shows up to have the team's back.
It's amazing to see the whole community, students and parents, coaches and teachers, come together at the school to cheer on their student athletes.
Celebrating high school sports unites us all, and that experience is essential to the pride and passion of an entire community.
Be a champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is unity. This is pride. This is your IHSAA.
Did you ever ride your bike with a clothespin and a baseball card? Or use a typewriter for a school paper? Then here's a timely alert. Americans born from 1945 to 1965 are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, which often has no symptoms, but is a leading cause of liver cancer. The good news? Treatments are available that can cure hepatitis C. Talk with your doctor about getting a blood test for hepatitis C. Know for sure. A message from the CDC.
IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. I'm Bob Lovell alongside Hall of Famer Paul Condry. Paul, we just now added a football to the proceedings.
Of course, it's the Wilson, the official ball of the
official Wilson.
The IHSAA.
It takes me back to my quarterbacking days at Plainfield High School. I know you can probably run just a short out right here, and I'll throw one to you. We can get that on camera and show how and have you dazzle everyone if you're up for it.
Those viewing us, we got everybody joining us for your photos for your viewing party. And don't forget, you can join us at IHSA1 and IHSA TV. The pride of the South Side, the South Bend Riley Wildcats. Tell you what, doing it all season long. And, of course, one of the great traditional powers of Indiana high school football, Roncalli Rebels. And then up in the northern part, in Elkhart County, how about the Elkhart Lions joining us and watching us here tonight on the IHSA Tournament Pairing Show?
This broadcast on the IHSA Champions Radio Network is copyrighted by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and may not be rebroadcast or retransmitted without express written consent of the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Paul Condry, let's turn our attention to sectional number 21. We're going 4A South, and it's sectional 21. Indianapolis Crispus Attucks will travel to Lebanon. Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory School on the road at Northview. Indianapolis Shortridge will be at Roncalli, and Indianapolis George Washington will travel to Mooresville. Paul, this sectional, Northview has had a good year. Brebeuf Jesuit playing well. Mike Gillen's Mooresville team has been up and down. Attucks having a tremendous season right now.
And when was the last time we were talking about the 4-time defending sectional champion, Roncalli Rebels? We've been talking about how deep are they going to go. Well, they're 3-5 this season. So the two teams and Mooresville at 3-5. We were talking about them as the two premier teams in this sectional for a long time. But Crispus Attucks has had a really good year, coming in with a 7-1 record. Roncalli, it's been rushing by committee for them. 5 players with 35 yards, 35 plus carries for 1,000 yards. But the team I think that you have to really kind of look at is Brebeuf Jesuit. They played a very, very formidable schedule. Junior quarterback Matt Geske has been sensational this season. 1,800 yards passing already, 21 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. He's got 5 receivers that have caused at least 14 passes, so he distributes the ball well. Wide receiver Taylor Clark has been good. Sophomore Parker Mayers has been outstanding in the defense with 69 stops. Brebeuf is going to be a team that is going to go on the road. They're used to going on the road. They won at tough places like Mishawaka Marion. But Northview is going to have to come up big, and I think Mark Race can coach him up. He's going to have running back Tyler Lee, 1,000-yard rusher, ready to go. Senior quarterback Kyle Cote has been really, really good. But it's going to take a mammoth effort for any team in this sectional to say to Matt Geske's Brebeuf Jesuit Braves that you're not the favorite, because they are the prohibitive favorite in this one.
Sectional number 22. Pendleton Heights will be at Greenfield Central. Newcastle travels to New Palestine. Beech Grove will be on the road at Muncie Central, and Mount Vernon of Fortville will travel to Richmond. This is a great section.
Yeah,
really good team.
3 ranked teams in the top half of the bracket, no less. Pendleton Heights 6-2, Greenfield Central 7-1, New Palette 6-2. Greenfield Central junior quarterback Dallas Freeman has run for over 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, also 477 yards rushing. Senior linebacker Jacob Hinton's been a beast defensively. And then you go to New Palette, and we'll talk about that group. Played in a very, very formidable league. Grayson Thomas has had a great season, 1,200 plus yards rushing, 15 touchdown. The linebacker linebackers Garrett and Josh Rains have combined for 126 tackles and 18 tackles for loss. And then you have Pendleton Heights. Isaac Wilson, 319 yards, 7 touchdowns. Nick Trout, defensively, they picked off 14 passes collectively. Pendleton Heights has done, and I really have a lot of respect for that group that plays at Pendleton Heights under the direction of Judd Richmond.
Sectional number 23. Tough sectional here. Edgewood traveling to Jennings County. Greenwood Community will be at Connorsville. Shelbyville on the road at East Central. And Martinsville will play at Silver Creek. I clearly think in this sectional you start with the defending champs in East Central. They're undefeated. I think have played obviously high-level football for quite a while. Silver Creek's having a nice run. Greenwood has had some good wins this year, but I think the sectional here starts with the defending champs in East Central.
Yeah, when you talk about this team, you can start with quarterback Cole Burton, 68% passing. I don't even know if Bob Lovell was in this area when he was a quarterback. 0 interceptions this year for Cole Burton, their quarterback. Running back Josh Ringer is one of the best running backs in all of Indiana, 1,500 yards, 31 touchdowns for Ringer. And wide receiver Ryan Brotherton has been outstanding. This is the best team in Indiana right now in Class 4A. I would hate to be in this sectional with this group because this group can flex its muscles. They have already won the state championship, and now they're looking to defend. Well, I tell you what, this is a tough out for anybody to compete with that group.
Sectional number 24. Competitive sectional it is. Bedford North Lawrence will travel to Evansville Harrison. Boonville will be at Evansville Wrights. Evansville Memorial travels to Evansville Central. And Jasper will be on the road at Evansville Bossy. Wrights having a solid year, to say the least. They're undefeated. They're playing very, very well.
Ranked second.
Boonville, nice season. Memorial playing great. John Hurley, tremendous coach. Again, they're a solid football team. B&L with 5 wins. So it's a pretty interesting sectional.
You got number 2, number 9 in the opposite sides of the bracket. So if you go look at the favorites, you've got Wrights. Quarterback Ben Davis has had a great year, 1,300 yards. Running back Troy Davis, senior wide receiver Rowan Vera, senior linebacker Aiden Welch just playing lights out for the Mighty Panthers. And Memorial, even though they had a setback on Friday to Vincennes, look big for Luke Elsperman. He's had a really good year. Alec Brashears has been great from the defensive side. But I think you look at Memorial and Wrights, of course these teams have played earlier in the season, and Wrights has certainly been the best team in Vandenberg County, and I certainly think that they're going to be the team to beat. But once again, John Hurley always finds a way to win, and if anybody can do it, he can.
He certainly can. Well, that wraps up 4A. We are through 4 classes, coming back with 5A and 6A. We're glad you're with us. IHSAA would like to thank its 2 presenting sponsors for today's broadcast, the Indianapolis Colts and the Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA, and the Colts are the presenting sponsor of the 51st State Football Championship, and Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, the official presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network, the most comprehensive state high school broadcast network in America. Thanks to both for their continued support. The IHSAA's 411 member schools and 160,000 student athletes. This is your IHSAA. Paul Kydra now will come back with your 5A matchups. Again, you're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Who appreciates the value of an Ivy Tech Community College Associate degree? Well, the state's largest colleges for starters. Over 20 have partnered with us in our Guaranteed Admissions Program, where an Ivy Tech Associate degree guarantees admission to their bachelor's degree program. Who else? The 70,000 plus high school students each year who earn college credit in high school and save on tuition by doing it. But as valuable as an Ivy Tech degree is, the real value lies in the better life it makes possible. Let's get started today at ivytech.edu.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Hey, honey, take your blood pressure medication.
Thanks, dear.
Daddy, are you going to the hospital again?
No, son. Bad medication from a dishonest website got me sick. Now we only use sites approved by NABP or that end in .pharmacy, so we know they're safe.
Learn more about the new .pharmacy domain and ordering medications safely online at safe.pharmacy, a public service from the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy.
Welcome back to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. Alcondre, more and more viewing parties. We wish we were there. We got this little gig in Indianapolis we have to take care of.
Yeah, Santa wants you to send your wish list right here to our broadcast area at IHSAA 1 and IHSAA TV. How about our friends at Fishers High School joining us?
Look good.
How about those Cats with a K, Kokomo? How about Coach Colby and his group? And then my buddy up in the northern half of the state.
I love the
How
picture.
about that?
It is
beautiful steel
what
stadium.
A beautiful shot.
Great job there by Coach Keith Kinder and the boys. Always one of the great places to watch American tackle football.
Man.
Legendary steel stadium.
I love that picture.
That is great.
I really do. How about we talk about 5A, okay?
Yeah. Think about this, Coach. 5A started in 1985. So this is the 38th year. Valparaiso, maybe the craziest story of all of last year, having gone through the tournament, knocking off a couple teams that when most people would have left them for dead. But 5A football, they're the champions, beat a really good Whiteland team in the championship game, and a historic ending to that football game. But this is going to be fine. We've got a total of 31 schools, and keep in mind that these guys will get a week off, and then they'll be playing the following week. So for the 5A guys, it's a time to kind of get back and readjust, collaborate, if you will, and figure out what you got to do. Some things you want to, some teams that are hurting. Right. Boy, I tell you what, this is a
healing bodies.
This is a blessing.
All right, when these Class 5A sectionals begin, here are the matchups. Sectional number 10.
9.
Sectional number 9. One of us can't read. That would be me. Sectional 9. Munster will play Merrillville. Hammond Morton will be at Hammond Central. So what do you think about these matchups?
Well, first of all, Hammond Central and Hammond Morton, there's no love there. Morton beat Central earlier. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, 56-3. Merrillville is very, very talented. Their two losses are to Crown Point and to Valparaiso. Senior Dante Pope has had a really formidable year, 859 yards passing through the air, 409 on the ground. But their talented group, they have 6 sophomores starting and 10 juniors that are making an impact, and they got a huge junior class. But the key guy is J.Q. Johnson, the running back. 8 touchdowns, 862 years. But they are young, but they are ornery, and I think Merrillville is the prohibited favorite in Sectional 9.
They played well, played a tough schedule. Yep. I would tend to agree. Let's move to sectional number 10, as I tried to do earlier. Michigan City at LaPorte, Valpo Chesterton. What else can you say about that matchup, Valpo Chesterton?
Two teams that Valpo has historically struggled with Chesterton more than any team on their schedule. I did both. As a matter of fact, I literally did both of these football games. I did Michigan City LaPorte on Friday. City won handedly, 35-0. Valparaiso had difficulties with Chesterton. Chesterton is a tough team to play against, and I'll tell you what, I really like what Mark Peterson has done. Hayden DeMarco, pound for pound, one of the best football players in the Duneland Conference. Garrett Lewis is a really good one for Chesterton. Michigan City, they're going to throw Syracuse recruit Jaden Hart at you, who just runs all over the place. Tyler Bush, their quarterback, 1,300 yards, and then they have probably one of the best linebackers in all of the Duneland Athletic Conference in Jahari Branch. And then you have Valparaiso, the defending champion. They have dual threat quarterback Justin Clark, who can pass it and can rush it. Tommy Berta, who is filling in for their all-state running back Travis Davis, who's out for the year with an ACL. He had rushed for 1,500 yards before he went down with an injury, so he's not going to play. But Valpo's done it with defense, Coach. Ty Bean and Sammy Ampliotis both are averaging 8 tackles a game. This is a all Duneling Conference love affair. I'm excited because I'll be doing one of these 2 games. It should be fun.
We move to sectional number 11. Mishawaka will travel to Goshen. Concord will play at South Bend Adams. Keith Kinder's group has had a nice run at 6-2. They're a solid team. They really, really are. And in terms of just records and schedule, I think you have to start with them.
Yeah, and that starts with their quarterback running that option, Brady Fisher, tremendously talented player, as well as just got his great football knowledge. Has been playing for 4 years now. 523 passing yards, 567. Junior running back Novell Miller has been outstanding running the football, 527 yards. But Concord, under the direction of head coach Craig Kaler, he's going to call on Jaron Thomas, who's rushed for 1,000 yards. And also, you look at this group, he is a pretty talented player on both sides of the football. But of course, Mishawaka just beat Concord earlier in the season, and I think that at this stage you got to look at Mishawaka. You're there in a position to win the conference championship in the Northern Lakes, which has got 5 of the best teams in that particular part of the state, all in one conference. And I think this is going to be a good one. But it's Mishawaka's to win.
Sectional number 12. This is a 3-team sectional.
The great oddity.
The great oddity, if you will. You have Anderson playing at Snyder. Obviously, Fort Wayne Northside gets the bye in this. What do you think?
They got 2 weeks off.
2 weeks off. Yeah, 2 weeks off. So
you
need to heal the bodies, and you need to get well, and you need to get ready to play some football. But it is one. But Snyder having a tremendous year. Yeah. I mean, they really are. Ranked at number 1 for a long time during the season. Kurt Tippmann and his guys are really, really good.
Yeah, I talked to KT earlier today, actually. Kieran Billingsley, he's really excited about the direction of his quarterback. 70% passing so far. Uriah Buchanan, the running back, 10 yards every time he touches the football. He is a tough guy to bring down. And then you got Lucas Robacher, is just as tough as a linebacker as you're going to see. Juniors, Brandon Logan, a 3-sport guy. Lane and Fry, a 3-sport guy, making an impact. Will Kelso, their defensive lineman, is having a great year. But they've only given up 8 rushing touchdowns the whole year.
Wow.
Snyder is a team that they're a plus 12 in the takeaway ratio. I would be so bold in saying this could be the team that we could see in Indianapolis. We thought we were going to see them there last year, but Valpo had other plans. But certainly Snyder brings a lot back to the table, including a ton of experience.
Sectional number 13. Plainfield will travel to Harrison of West Lafayette, and Decatur Central on the road at McCutcheon. Paul, if there's someone in Indiana that doesn't know I'm a Plainfield graduate, I don't know exactly how that happened.
Yeah.
So I love
sleeping under a rock.
I love my Quakers. This may be as good a game as there is in a first-round setting in the entire tournament.
I haven't said in an hour. This could be one of those slobber knockers. Well, Tyler Bless, his first year head coach, has done a great job. And
I agree with you.
At 6-2, ranked number 6. I tell you what, there's Terry Peebles, the other Peeble brother, who's coaching football, has done a really formidable job since taking over at Harrison. They're 7-1. These 2 teams played each other earlier in the season. It was a 15-14 football game. But senior quarterback Hunter Newell's had a great year, coach, for Plainfield. 1,100 yards passing, only 1 interception, 10 with 11 touchdowns. Sophomore Luke Starnes has had a great year running the football. He's got multiple 100-yard games. Outside linebacker defensive end Landon Drennan has done an outstanding job, 60 tackles. Then if you look at the Harrison team that they're going to see, Cox Dillon has had a great year throwing the football. 14 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1,100 yards passing. The team averages 400 all-purpose yards per game. And their middle linebacker, Jackson Millis, has been a beast defensively. And then you throw Decatur Central on the bottom half of the bracket. Bo Paulson, the quarterback, has been good. Dodo, the running back, has been good with 668 yards. Wide receiver Chris Richmond, linebacker Robert Aguirre, 90 tackles for him. And then McCutcheon has had a formidable year at 5-3. Right. This is a fun sectional 13. We'll see some great football in this one.
Sectional number 14 comes up next. Sectional 14, Whiteland Community will travel to Terre Haute, North Vigo. Franklin Community on the road at Terre Haute, South Vigo. And Paul, I've lived in Franklin over 50 years. It's where our daughter graduated. Chris Call's group's had a nice run. You know, they got a nice season. Darren Fisher's team played for a championship at Whiteland last year.
Yep.
Starting to put some things together right now. So there are a couple of teams that I think will be formidable in this section.
Yeah, I think you look at Franklin coming into the bottom half of this. They beat Whiteland earlier in the year, 22-21. Outstanding job by the running back, junior Alex Lugers, 1,000-yard rusher. Linebacker Lance Jones has been outstanding, 56 stops. Terre Haute South has played a very, very tough season. They've had a tough schedule. They've shown up every week and punched people in the chops. But I think Whiteland, with the running back, Slade Valentine, has been outstanding, nearly 1,000 yards rushing. Linebacker Jordan Palmer's been sensational, 71 stops. But I think that the experience of Whiteland, they're the defending sectional, regional, and semi-state champion, gets Darren Fisher's group over the top in this one.
Sectional number 15, the battle in Bloomington. South will travel to North, and Seymour will play at Columbus East. There's something in the water in Bloomington because they're two really good football teams. I mean, really good football teams in North and South.
Yeah, South at a two-time defending champion, Bob. And the story in Indiana in 5A football has to be Bloomington North.
Absolutely.
Scott Bless, who was the Indianapolis Colts Coach of the Week last week, his team is playing great football. Dash King, their quarterback, has thrown the ball well, 65% percentage thrown this year, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. Their linebacker, Zeke Trueblood, has been a beast defensively. And then at Bloomington South, you got a great quarterback in Darren Alley, 78% quarterback passing percentage, 1,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. Running back Gavin Adams has rushed for 820 yards. He has 5 100-yard rushing games. Wide receiver DeAndre Black has been great. Linebacker Ralph Rogers has been a beast in the middle for their defense. Defensively, they have 35 tackles for loss and 14 sacks as a team. Bloomington South, of course, these two teams played each other back on the 8th of September. 1 point decided it all in overtime. 25-24, North went in an OT. This is wide open. Seymour's had a good year. Ty Seymour, I like what he's doing, but they're going to be overmatched against whichever Bloomington team advances.
Sectional number 16 wraps it up for 5A. Evansville North will play at Floyd Central. Castle will be on the road at New Albany. I love this sectional. I mean, Floyd Central's had a great year. Doug Hertz guys at Castle always win. New Albany's had a really good year. This is a competitive sectional, to say the least. It's hard to pick a favorite.
Yeah, Floyd Central, they have not lost a game in Indiana this season. So give a lot of credit to James Bragg's group. And a lot of it has to do with quarterback Tristan Robertson, who's thrown for 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns, 3 picks. Junior wide receiver Isaac Kaiser's been good, 11 touchdown receptions. Senior running back Mitch Bernardi is averaging 122 yards rushing per game. If you look at the other part of that matchup there, Evansville North has seniors quarterback Sam McKinney averaging 135 passing yards a game. Running back Kenyon Northing, 7 yards per rush. Senior defensive end Caleb Harris has been outstanding. He has 33 tackles. And of those 33 tackles, Bob, 22 of them are for a loss. He's number 2 in the state with 13 and a half sacks. He's been outstanding. Then Castle, I think, is the dark horse here. Junior running back Max McCool averages 7.5 yards per rush. Senior Antonio Harris has done a great job running the football, 8 yards per carry. And juniors linebackers Gavin Leach and Trey Ward are both averaging 10 stops per game. So sectional 16 is going to, I think it's an up for grabs one. Boy, but that first matchup between North and Floyd Central will be a bloodbath.
That wraps up 5A. We'll come back after this short break and talk about 6A. I'm glad you're with us. I want to thank WLTI in Newcastle, WKBV in Richmond, AM and FM, WYMR in Culver, WKVI in Knox, WAMB AM and FM in Brazil, WAXI in Rockville, WNDI AM and FM in Sullivan, WAMB in Terre Haute, WUZR in Bicknell, WRZR in Lagodi, WZDM, AM and FM in Vincennes, WAMW, AM and FM in Washington, WJOT in Wabash, and WRSW in Warsaw for being part of the IHSA Champions Network. Paul Condry and I will come back, bring you the 6-8 pairings. You're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance. We're good at Maya's half duplex with a 2-car garage that holds more concerts than cars insurance. We're good at Summer's 2-bedroom rental with an outdoor balcony for taking her virtual yoga class insurance. And we're good at Audrey's 3-bedroom remodel with walls that just aren't thick enough insurance.
Could you guys close the door? It's shut!
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Parents, teachers, school board members, do you want your school to experience the richness of academic freedom or the constraints of a one-size-fits-all federal mandate called Common Core Standards? Advocates for academic freedom is for educational excellence and local control of your school. Come join the fight for your children's education. You can contact us at advocatesforacademicfreedom.org or call 1-715-234-5072.
To the IHSAA Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, and this is the IHSAA Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts. I'm Bob Lovell with Paul Condry. All right, 6-8, Paul, sectional number 1. We're off and running. This is going to wrap it up for the night. Portage will take on Lake Central on the road. Lafayette Jefferson will be at Crown Point. This in sectional number 1. Crown Point really playing well in this sectional right now.
Yeah, they really are. But then they've got great talent. Of course, they didn't win the sectional last year. They had an unbeaten season, but Lafayette Jeff knocked them off their perch. But Crown Point has state wrestling champion Will Clark, discus state champion Seamus Molaski, junior quarterback Noah Ehrlich, a transfer from Hobart, has had a good year. Larry Ellison's been dynamic. You look at Lafayette Jeff, Lance Crowder, their quarterback has been good, wide receiver DJ Young. Lake Central, if they were healthy, Xavier Williams, the Iowa commit, was healthy, they would be a team to keep an eye on, but without him in the lineup, that's going to be a tough road to hoe. I still think they'll advance past Portage, but once again, Crown Point is the prohibited favorite.
Sectional number 2, let's take a look there. Carroll of Fort Wayne will play at Warsaw. Elkhart on the road against Penn. I love the Carroll-Warsaw matchup. I really do.
Yeah, and once again, it's tough to play against Bart Curtis and play a little Bart ball because they do things so well. And I talked with Bart on Saturday, and he's really excited about that Luke Ransbottom, the running back. Their fullback Reed Solinger's playing well. Defensive end Isaac Beams been outstanding. But Carroll, they're going to throw junior quarterback Jimmy Sullivan, a 1,300-yard passing guy. He's got 4 receivers with 230 yards reception. Defensive lineman Ashton Patsetsky averages 10 tackles a game and has 30 and tackles for loss and 5 sacks. He's a beast. And then, of course, Penn. Penn's had a great year. Auden Jones, maybe the best center in all of Indiana. He's a 4-year starter. Noah McCall can beat you with his arms and with his leg. Jake Ballas is running the ball really, really well. But this is going to be fun. Penn matched up against whomever in the final. Elkhart better bring their A game because Penn beat them earlier in the season 21-0. And playing at Free Field, that's a tough place to go.
Sectional number 3. Fishers will be at Homestead. Hamilton Southeastern travels to Fort Wayne Northrop. It's a great sectional. HSE, Fishers, Homestead, having great years. Northrop,
struggling.
Solid year. It's good.
Yeah, you look at Hamilton Southeastern, defending champion, Hamilton Southeastern quarterback Chandler Weston, 66% passing this year, 1,000-yard passer, running back Jalen Anderson. It's been great. Senior wide receiver Donovan Hamilton's been outstanding. Fisher will throw IU recruit running back Kobe Martin. He's rushed for 154 yards a game. Junior wide receiver John Anthony Hall has been great, 111 yards receiving per game. Senior quarterback Bennett Gorek has been good, 215-yard passing per game for him. And then you throw their linebacking crew of Carter Imes and senior Jake Pruitt. That is a tough thing. And then Homestead, which beat Snyder earlier in the season, they're going to throw out running back Brett Boots at you, 200 all-purpose yards for him. And, of course, they've got a very good defensive group with 10 defenders with at least 20 tackles. They're a great overall balance. But Homestead beat Schneider, and their losses this season are to Carmel, Noblesville, Dwenger, and Carroll. So don't let the 4-4 record fool you, because Chad Zolman can coach them up.
Sectional number 4 is our next sectional. Westfield will play at Carmel. Noblesville on the road at Zionsville. Westfield having a great year, 7 wins, only 1 loss. Carmel, great schedule, playing well. Noblesville, Zionsville. This is I think you have to look very hard at Westfield and Carmel in this section.
Yeah, Carmel's running back by committee. Senior defenders Artemis Bryant, 9 tackles a game. Charles Marsh, 8 tackles a game. Noblesville has had don't let the 3-5 record for Noblesville or Zionsville fool you. These two teams played each other earlier in this season. Noblesville won the football game, but senior Logan Schofter for Noblesville has been great. Junior linebacker Corbin Ornickel's been outstanding. But I like this Westfield team, and quarterback Jackson Gilbert has thrown for 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks, 2 wideouts. Junior Gabe Amaros and senior Max Nossler have been tremendous. Junior defender tight end Micaiah Webster, 12 tackles a game. But, you got to mention Zionsville because they got Eugene Hilton, pretty good player at wideout, and senior linebacker Luke Pinola has got 10 tackles a game. So this is going to be a fun sectional, but you'd have to think that Westfield Carmel, they didn't play this season, but that's got to be the top team coming out of the 4.
Sectional number 5. Brownsburg will be on the road at Ben Davis. Avon travels to Pike. I said earlier, might be something, other game might be the best in the state. I take it back.
Yeah.
This one.
Brownsburg, Ben Davis is going to be a good one. I know. I talked with Russ Mann earlier today. I know that senior quarterback Tom Katowski went out of the game on Friday with an injury. He is going to be okay. He is committed to the Miami of Ohio. He's thrown for 1,700 yards. Junior Mark Zachary's been great, but Brownsburg is deep. Senior quarterback Jake Dunn, 66% this season. Running back Garrett Sherrill has been great. Their wide receiving core of Corey Smith and Caden Nollinger have been outstanding. So it's going to be a Brownsburg, Ben Davis, number 2 versus 3. That's a great one.
Sectional number 6. North Central will travel to Indianapolis Cathedral. Lawrence Central will play at Lawrence North in the Battle of Lawrence Township. Cathedral, solid year. It is a good team. Lawrence North has played well, but I think you start with Cathedral.
Yeah. Bill Peebles has the highest winning percentage of the 4 Cathedral coaches of all time. People may or may not know that, but Danny O'Neill's been great. 1,388 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks against rival Roncalli. He rushed for 3 scores and 85, so he can do that. Got 4 receivers over 200 yards. Lawrence Central's got Mateo Russell at linebacker. Lawrence North has freshman running back Xavier Moore, averaging 8.5 yards per rush. I tell you what, Lawrence Central's going to be a great football game. North won the game earlier, 41-26.
Sectional number 7. Perry Meridian will be at Warren Central. Southport travels to Indianapolis Arsenal Technical. Like this. Warren Central playing well right now. I think you have to consider them a favorite.
Yeah, running back by committee, 4 backs with 250 yards rushing, easy to run behind, but it's all about their defense. They have 56 tackles for negative yardage and 23 sacks. And then, of course, in sectional 8, it's also a good one. I like this one, Coach. I know that I'm getting ahead of you a little bit here, but
it's okay.
It's going to be a good one.
Let's go to sectional 8. Franklin Central will play at Center Grove. Jeffersonville travels to Columbus North. 3-time defending champs, Center Grove. You start there.
Yeah, and it will end there. They've won 13 straight sectionals. That's all you need to know, the longest streak in Indiana. Tyler Cherry, the quarterback. Running backs Matt Yoder, Rylan Cook, senior wide receiver Noah Coy, outstanding. 12 Trojan players have at least 20 tackles, led by the legendary Owen Bright with 9 tackles. This team has 11 interceptions in 8 games.
In case you didn't write it all down fast enough, go to ihsaa.org for all of the pairings. We'll come back and wrap it up. You're listening to the IHSAA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
While high school sports help students develop their athletic skills, the real lessons in this second classroom are the skills needed for life. I'm Brian Lewis.
And I'm Carrie Rosati. We're both assistant commissioners of the IHSAA. In high school sports, student athletes aren't just running drills. They're learning discipline and work ethic.
They're not just watching film. They're learning the value of preparation and always finding ways to improve.
They're not just hitting the weight room. They're learning the importance of pushing through any challenges that come their way.
These aren't just some of the skills student athletes need to navigate the game. These are the skills they need to navigate life, to be successful people, to be good humans.
You can ensure these life lessons are taught for generations to come. Be a champion of high school sports and buy a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is preparing for the game. This is preparing for life. This is your IHSAA.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to the 2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. All right, we gave you the sectional matchups. Here's what you need to know about the regionals. Determining the home team, classes A, 3A, and 5A, sectional final game non-host, if applicable, or odd sectional number. Okay, you got that, Paul. You understand that, right? And in 2A, 4A, and 6A, sectional final non-host if applicable, or even sectional number. So based on these sectionals will be equally fun. Entertaining to say the least. Let's take one final break and come back and say goodbye. But you're listening to the IHSA Champions Radio Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. This is your IHSAA.
Each Friday, the Indianapolis Colts will visit local high schools throughout the state of Indiana as part of their Friday Night Football Tour program. Sponsored by Green's Groomer, this program highlights marquee matchups throughout the state with a pregame tailgate consisting of giveaway items, Colts cheerleaders' autographs, interactive games, and register-to-win opportunities. To see where the Friday Night Football Tour is off to next, visit colts.com/FNFT.
I'm Sherry Shepard. You probably know me best as a co-host on The View. More importantly, I'm a mom. If you're pregnant or a new mom, you can get timely expert information to help keep your baby healthy, something every mother wants. Through a free service called Text for Baby, women get health tips sent directly to their cell phones to help them care for their babies through their first year. Just text BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511411. That's BABY, B-A-B-Y, to 511411 for the health of your baby.
Yankee legend Bernie Williams has a personal message to share.
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, or IPF, is a rare and serious lung disease that affected my dad. Its symptoms, which include shortness of breath, fatigue, and a dry, persistent cough, are similar to other more common conditions like COPD, which means that IPF is often misdiagnosed. There is no cure for IPF, but there are treatments that can help slow disease progression. If you think you or a loved one may have IPF, don't wait. Visit breathlessipf.com to learn more and talk to a pulmonologist today.
2023 IHSAA Football Tournament Pairing Show presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSA Champions Radio Network. Can't do this without great people like Paul Condry, his wife Tanya. Thanks to the IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Heath Shanahan is a magician. My thanks to Devin Duncan, also to Heath. Elijah Robertson back in the studio. Couldn't have done it without all of you. Enjoy the tournament, and remember, sportsmanship is an absolute must at this, and have a great tournament all the way through. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Bob Lobel for Paul Condry. Have a great week.
You've been listening to the 2023 Indiana High School Athletic Association Football Tournament Pairing Show, presented by the Indianapolis Colts on the IHSAA Champions Radio Network. This is your IHSAA. Today's broadcast was brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. Ivy Tech Community College, presenting partner of the IHSAA. Learn more about higher education without the high price at ivytech.edu. By Franciscan Health, inspiring health. Wilson Sporting Goods, official ball of the IHSAA. Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the official sports medicine provider of the IHSAA. By Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut Water. Sharp Business Systems Indiana, saluting great athletes and even better students. Dellin Automotive, experience the Dellin difference. And by the Indianapolis Colts, proud presenting sponsor of the 51st annual IHSAA Football State Tournament. Visit IHSAA